Hi, Robert Houck with Houck and Downing. We're back talking today a little about veterans and a little segue into housing issues for seniors and those with acute disabilities or special needs. With me is Kelly Metz from Brookdale. And I know Brookdale isn't the proper full name for the place, but you want to tell us who you are and what you do?
I am with Brookdale, Fresno, and we are an independent and assisted living community here in town.
Okay. And so independent might mean some things to some people and different things to other people. Mm-hmm. What does it mean for you with Brookdale?
Independent living is for folks who don't really want to cook and clean anymore at home, and they want to go to a place where they can have their meals served and someone to come clean the apartment occasionally and do some laundry and provide transportation. So the biggest part of that, though, is the social atmosphere where there's other folks that they can talk with their own age and activities that they can do while they're there.
Okay. Do you have people to help these seniors and special needs people keep engaged while they're there, so they don't just become a hermit, live in their little room, apartment, and never come out?
Absolutely. That's one of the most important things that we do in independent and assisted living is the social aspect of that. And it encompasses different areas, the spiritual aspect, making sure that they have access to church services, and also the educational aspect. We want to make sure that seniors have the opportunity to continue learning even though they may not be going to a formal school. We want them to be able to be physically fit and mentally fit, and so there's things to do every day.
So you mentioned being physically fit. Do they have like a gym at your facility?
We do. We have exercise classes 6 days a week. There's a gym also that they can use. I see folks in the gym all the time.
Okay. So essentially they can cook in their own apartment if they want to.
Sure, that's one of the best things about independent living is that folks are truly independent. They have the choice to come down and get a meal, or they can cook for themselves in their apartment.
Okay. So we've talked a little bit about that. Let's talk a little bit about assisted living, and can you describe a range of what's called assistance for these people?
You bet. Assisted living builds on independent living. We add personal care services such as assistance with bathing, medication management, dressing. And assisted living can range from folks who simply need maybe medication management all the way through the end of life in most cases. There are some things we're not allowed to do, but in most cases folks can remain there for the rest of their life.
Okay. So do you have hospice services then for some of these people?
We do. Hospice, we have agencies that we partner with for our residents, and hospice is one of them. So when we feel that there may be a need for hospice, we consult with their physician and the families and talk about hospice. Another area that we partner with is in physical and occupational therapy. So when residents are at risk for taking falls, we may ask the physician to bring in a physical therapist to help them remain on their feet and get a little better.
Okay, so you don't have a physical therapist on staff, though, do you?
No, we're partnering with outside agencies, and those are our agencies that the families choose and that we work with.
We had a wonderful experience with, I was there 3 or 4 times, San Joaquin Valley. Mm-hmm. Rehab as it is, it's up there, and it was there several times. Saw good interactions in there. So what are the range of living quarters? I assume it's not the old military style barracks kind of thing. Describe the ranges of living conditions.
You know, one of the things that folks are most surprised about when they come to Brookdale, Fresno, is that the living accommodations are truly apartments. It's not a shared room. It's not a barracks, as you said. Okay. It's truly an apartment. They have a full kitchen. They have walk-in closets, easy access showers, and so it's a full apartment for them, patios. So at Brookdale, we have 1-bedroom and 2-bedroom apartments, so folks have the option of what size they prefer.
Okay. And how about with family? Are they allowed to have family come stay over with them?
That's one of the most important things to us, is including family with the residents. One of the things that I learned when I first came is that everyone who lives and works there is part of the family, and that includes the extended family of the resident. And so we have family dinners. We allow residents to have their family whenever they like. There are no visiting hours. It's when it's convenient for them. And the fun part is that visitors can be family, grandchildren, pets on leashes. So
So it's open for pretty much everything, 24 hours a day.
It is.
Well, that's one of the things that we tell people. One of the things that's recommended to people is that if you have a loved one in a facility, to drop in unexpectedly to check on them.
Mm-hmm. I recommend that quite often. We'll often have folks come take a look at us, and one of the things that I suggest is to come back at a different time of day and or a different day of the week, so that they can see what things are like at all the time.
Okay, and so if they have company coming, can they dine at the facility with their loved ones?
Most definitely. Not only can they dine in the dining room, but we can also reserve a private room for them to throw a baby shower or a birthday party or something like that. We recently had a 100th birthday party with about 100 attendees, so it was fun. And our lady with the 100th birthday is on our independent living, so she's still doing very well.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
She is. Well, I'm doing that well another 5 years. It gets up and around. One of the things that is what do you feel that sets Brookdale apart from the other places?
I think the most important thing is something I alluded to before, and that is the family aspect. My first days when I started at Brookdale, I've never been more welcomed at a job in my life, and I quickly realized that the residents do feel like we are a part of the family. So the staff is as much of their family as the residents and their loved ones. So we also have programs where we can ease the transition into Brookdale. We have resident ambassadors who become kind of a peer-to-peer support for new residents, so that on their first day they're not standing in the dining room thinking, oh my gosh, where do I sit and who do I sit with? They have someone who can guide them and introduce them to folks and explain what there is to do from their point of view. And oftentimes that really eases the anxiety for new residents.
One of the things that I know is a problem is that the transition from their home to a facility can be a difficult one. And for a lot of people, that giving up that home that they've been in for 30 or 40 years or more is a big thing. And so besides their, do you allow family members to come in and help them make this transition?
We do. There are some things that we encourage folks to do when they're looking at assisted living, especially if they've been in their home for quite some time and they're a little bit reluctant. We want them to come by multiple times. Come have lunch with us. Come have an activity. Come sit down with a different staff member or a resident ambassador. Get to know people, because I think one of the things that people have the most anxiety about is that it's new and they're not sure what's going to happen. They're afraid that people are going to tell them what to do all the time, and that's just not the case. So by coming to Brookdale 3, 4, 5 times even before they move in, once they do move in, they have people they know, they have routines that they are already aware of, and they can be so much more comfortable.
One of the things that happens, and sometimes it happens to some of us earlier than others, I just forgot about this and just remembered it, is do you have a memory care unit there?
That's one thing we don't have at Brookdale, is we don't do memory care. And we're very upfront with folks when they come to us that we don't do that. And so when we have someone with a memory need, we always refer them to other wonderful places in town.
Okay.
So.
And when we're talking about memory care, what types of people are affected with memory care? What is, a lot of people out here may not understand what we're talking about. So what does that mean?
Folks with memory loss can range from anything from what's called mild cognitive impairment, which is a mild forgetfulness that doesn't really impact their day. It's just, oh my gosh, where are my keys? I can't remember what I had for breakfast. But then it progresses sometimes into dementia, a diagnosed dementia, and then sometimes Alzheimer's. There are different forms of dementia that encompass memory issues, like Alzheimer's, Pick's disease, so lots of them.
Okay. So, to go back over this real briefly, is you don't have a studio apartment type thing. I see that with some of these places.
Right. We don't have a studio.
Okay. But you have 1 and 2 bedrooms.
Mm-hmm.
If one resident wants to move in and have somebody share the rent, can they have another person move into the second bedroom with them?
Sure, and that does happen. We have accommodations too, where folks can either share an apartment, where we can introduce them as roommates, or where folks can move in on their own with a friend or a relative and stay in the same apartment. So that also helps with the cost.
Yeah, it can. That friend then would have to pay for meals or something if they were eating in the restaurant.
Right. If 2 people are living in the apartment, they both would have to qualify for the assisted living, and both would get the same benefits. It's just at a reduced cost for that second person.
Okay, very good. So with that, we're going to shift now to residential care with my partner, Marcella Downing, is going to be in here and talk with them, and I have Kelly stick around for a little bit because we may include everybody at the end. But we're going to go ahead and go to break,